What is going on, everybody? This is your man, Big B, Brian Hanley. Welcome back to Steelers Almighty. Appreciate everybody being in here, people. We have got a good show, good, fun, entertaining show for you guys today. People are already in the chat talking about it. Appreciate you guys being in here, man. So, first up, Will Howard derangement syndrome has gone off the rails, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'll tell you what I'm talking about that when we get into this. There's some people that are already, I don't like the title of this. And hey, man, relax. Just relax. We're all having fun in here. But it is crazy. Trust me, it is crazy. Next, what is the toughest off-season decision for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Like, the offseason is basically here, but what's the toughest decision that they really need to make in the offseason? And then I guess one of those decisions, I think this is the easy one, extend JPJ, but they need to do it sooner than later. Like, there's no reason to wait around and beat around the bush. And maybe they're negotiating, but break the Steeler mode of doing these extensions at training camp, man. Get the thing done and get it over with. Get everybody happy. Make sure he's at mini camp and all that stuff, especially when you have a new regime. No need to wait around. We'll get into all of that. So appreciate everybody being in here. Thank you guys for showing up like you always do. Remember, like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you want to help support the channel, super chats are wide open. Speaking of super chats, we already got one. My man, Steeler Lee, he said, you say rebuild doesn't mean we have to be bad in 2026. I understand, but let be sink or swim, sign Mac Jones and let him battle Will Howard. If one hits, great. If not, 6 and 7 wins is fine, and we draft the QB high in 2027, which is not a horrible idea. Not a horrible idea. You know, got a new member. Pack of Cool 100s. Lord have mercy. Pack of Cools. You must have been my dad's best friend because my dad used to smoke Cools constantly, all the time back in the 70s and 80s. Lord have mercy. So appreciate you supporting the channel, man, and being a member. So appreciate that. Fading Velocity is in the house. What's going on? Miss Christine is in the house. It's like nobody's ever watched tape on Will Howard. I love Will. Bless his heart. He's not a starting QB in the NFL as far as I've seen. Well, the thing about it is we haven't seen anything. We haven't seen anything. So let's just get into it, people. So Will Howard derangement syndrome. It seems that the fans have, it's either, there is no down the middle. It is either you are totally against Will Howard being a starting quarterback, or you think that Will Howard is the next Tom Brady. There are so many people that want to bring up the Tom Brady comparison when talking about Will Howard. Well, Tom Brady was a 6th-round pick. Well, look at Brock Purdy and what he's done. And the only thing that I've ever said about this from the very beginning, and I'm never going to change my mind until it's proven otherwise, is how many guys can you name in the last 40 years that have been drafted in the 6th round or later that have been competent, consistent NFL starters? How many? You can name them with one hand. In 40 years. And so for that, people act like you're not a Steelers fan. You hate the Steelers. You don't know what you're talking about. And it's like, all we're saying, and most people are saying, hey, how about we just bring in some competition? But everybody, no. We have to play Will Howard. We have to see what we've got. Well, first off, my question is why? Like, why do we have to do that? Like, what's the point? I mean, nobody was screaming that we had to see what we had in Mason Rudolph, and he was a 3rd-round pick. Why didn't we scream that? And other 5th and 6th-round picks at the Pittsburgh Steelers, like, nobody screams, man, we got to play Logan Lee. Like we need to just get rid of Cam Hayward, and we got to play Logan Lee. Logan Lee was a 6th-round pick 2 years ago. We got to sit Cam down, trade him, cut him, We got to play Logan Lee, man, because you never know. He could be the next Cam Hayward. Like, when was the last time you heard that? Like, when was the last time you heard somebody say, "Hey, get rid of Logan Lee"? So get rid of him, get rid of Cam Hayward so Logan Lee can play because he could be the next Cam Hayward. Nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying that. And so Bernie McCluskey said, "Stop it, B. No one is calling Howard the next Brady." First of all, yeah. So the people have said that. And why does he get a real shot? Like, what 6th-round pick? Why again? Why aren't you saying that what Logan Lee doesn't get a real shot? Why can't he get a real shot? He was a 6th-round pick. Can he not get the same shot? Because it's a quarterback. So because you're the quarterback, that means no matter what, you have to get an opportunity. That's horrible logic. Horrible logic. That because you're the quarterback, that you have to get an opportunity. Yeah, no. No. That's not how it works. That is literally not how it works, people. But my whole thing about it is this, is that it's gone off the rails. It's fine to be a fan of Will Howard. It's fine because, people think that I don't want Will Howard to succeed. Will Howard for 4 years went to the school that I played at. So why the hell wouldn't I want him to succeed? Not only did he go to the school that I played at, he plays for the damn team I've rooted for my whole life. So of course I want him to succeed. Of course I do. You know? And so the crazy part is a rumor came out yesterday that the Pittsburgh Steelers were possibly could be in the mix to trade for CJ Stroud. And first of all, I think the rumor is BS. I think the rumor is complete BS. I don't think there's any way possible that the Steelers are going to be in the hunt or that the Texans are even going to think about trading CJ Stroud. Big super chat by Mr. Sir T8X. He said, "Start Mason Rudolph #1, not injury prone, team player. Keep the work, bro." I'm not sure. I'm not sure about starting Mason Rudolph, but you're right about not being injury prone. I get it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Big Show says, "I love you, B, but saying sitting Cam for Lee is the same as saying Howard's situation is a stretch. Cam is producing QB position up and down. Big difference between the two." No, it isn't. We're saying give him an opportunity. Okay, fine. If you don't want to sit Cam Hayward, then sit Derek Harmon. Sit somebody. You should have never drafted Derek Harmon because Logan Lee got drafted in the same spot. Sit Keanu Benton. The point being is nobody is screaming for him to get an opportunity. Nobody's screaming for that. The Steelers sucked at run defense for the better part of the last 3 years because of their interior line. And there wasn't a fan out there that said, "Hey, man, we got to play Logan Lee. He was a 6th-round pick. He deserves a chance." Nobody was saying that. Nobody was saying that. None of them led their team to a national title either. Okay. So Gino Torretta led his team to a national title. Better yet, Ken Dorsey led the greatest team in the history of college football. Ken Dorsey was the quarterback of that football team. Ken Dorsey was the best. He was the quarterback on the best team in the history of college football. The 2001 Miami Hurricanes. 7th-round pick. Didn't get a chance. So, yeah. We got to stop with that. We got to stop with that, people. I get it. So, no, we're not screwed. And Logan Lee cannot compete with. So now guys can't compete. So, got it. Will Howard's competition is Rudolph. And do we know that his competition that he's can compete with him? No. Anyway, I'm going to get back to it because I mean, people are now starting to get disrespectful, and that's cool. But my thing about it is that the rumor with CJ Stroud coming aboard, people were literally saying, "Nah, we don't need CJ Stroud. We've got Will Howard." No reason to trade for CJ Stroud. We have Will Howard. We got Howard. We can't use CJ Stroud. That was literally the talk. Now, again, I don't believe the rumor because I think the rumor is BS. Because if Houston is wanting to get rid of CJ Stroud, why the hell the Steelers want him? You're going to get rid of your franchise quarterback. You're going to trade him because you don't want to pay him? Well, that doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, and then you're going to go try to find another guy? That's wild. That's absolutely wild. So B. Wayne had a perfect. Tim Tebow won 2 national championships. Yes, he did. Yeah, he sure did. And he got in the NFL and he couldn't throw a football straight. So, yeah. But that was the rumor. Trade for CJ Stroud. Nope, don't want to do it. We got Will Howard. And I just, at some point, you come to a breaking point. And I think that was probably my breaking point. I'm like, are you guys crazy? Like seriously. You wouldn't want CJ Stroud, a man that's proven himself in the National Football League, has won 2 playoff games in the National Football League, a proven starter because of Will Howard? Oh, oh man. That's why I say the Will Howard derangement syndrome has gone completely off the rails. Completely off the rails. We would rather have Will Howard than a proven young NFL starter. Oh, okay. So Mark Malone said he's proven he can't do anything but throw picks when it matters. Okay. Hey, that, like I said, the Will Howard derangement syndrome, it's a real thing, people. It is a real thing. So it's a real thing. There's no way in the world that a Steeler fan should be saying that out in public. There's no way you should be saying that kind of stuff out in public. I thought we wanted the best players. I thought we wanted the best team. So I thought we wanted literally to put the best players out there. Is that not the case? I'm just asking questions. Is that really not the case? I don't know. I just thought we wanted the best players. I thought we wanted to put the best people out there. And now I've got people literally in this chat that are telling me that Will Howard, nope, he's better than CJ Stroud. We don't want him. And we haven't even seen Will Howard throw a preseason pass. The man hasn't thrown a preseason pass and was a 6th-round pick. And number one, people are saying 6th-round pick, that doesn't matter. Doesn't matter where he was drafted. Okay, fine. But a guy that's proven to be good in this league, all of a sudden, no, I'd rather have Will Howard as the starter. That to me is wild. Absolutely wild as a take, man. Whew. Man, that is crazy. I get it. I get it. I get we love the people that we love, and we want to support the people that we support. So, CID says CJ Stroud's not proven. He's proven he can win 2 playoff games. I mean, he's proven that. And I'm going to guarantee you that we would be okay with if we had a quarterback on our team that had won 2 playoff games. It could win us 2 playoff games in the last 3 years. Whew. Whew. And Steela says, I would love to bring in CJ Stroud to compete with Will Howard. That is exactly why I'm saying that comment, this comment right here, is why the Will Howard derangement syndrome is a real thing. That's why. CJ Stroud now has to compete with Will Howard. We're not even trying, man. We're not even trying. Come on. Oh man. Whew. Mm, mm, mm. It is what it is. It is what it is. Like I said, I know it's February. I know that we all got a lot of football fatigue in our system. I know that February is literally the month in the NFL for the rumor mill to go. I get it. I 100% get all of that. So, but at some point, we got to be serious. So, at some point, now the one thing that I wouldn't do, the rumor was, would you trade Will or trade for CJ Stroud for a first and a third round pick? Now, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to give up a first round pick because the Steelers have too many holes. So I'm not going to give up a first and a third for CJ Stroud. No, hell no. Not even going to think about that. But for a second, yeah, I would do that. I would do that in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. And the only reason that the rumor going on out there is because in Houston, the rumor got to put out there is that the Texans don't want to pay CJ Stroud. They don't want to pay him. So, and this is my whole, that's what I said too, Mike. I said the same thing. I'm like, there's no way that Houston is going to trade. So you're telling me they're going to trade a 24-year-old quarterback that's won 2 playoff games in the last 3 years. You're going to trade that to go find somebody else? No. It's a wild rumor that is no way. And that's right. Negotiation tactic is exactly what it is. There's no way Houston is going to do that. No way. But if it happened and the Steelers did acquire him, don't tell me that he's got to compete with Will Howard. Otherwise, you're just saying stuff to say it on the internet, or you are literally crazy. Crazy. Oh, my God. Woo. It's crazy, man. Like I said, I am way more comfortable with bringing in a Mac Jones, trading for him. Even if you could get Malik Willis on the cheap and let Will Howard compete with those guys and let the best man win. Let the best man win. The problem with Malik Willis, though, Malik Willis isn't going to sign here unless he's guaranteed to be the starter, which is why I've kind of moved on from Malik Willis, because the sample size of him is very, very small. So why do I have to guarantee you a job? I don't have to guarantee you anything. You haven't proven that I need to guarantee you anything. I'm going to bring you in, but you got to compete. But I'm not bringing you in to guarantee you the job. No, hell no. Same thing with Mac Jones. Like, Mac Jones is more proven than Will Howard for sure. But what have you done that just says, okay, we got to guarantee you this job? Nothing. Nothing. And let the best man win. Nah, Michael, I'm not big on Willis either. I wouldn't mind if he came for cheap and we could get him on a 1-year deal and he had a prove it deal and he had to compete for the job. I'd be fine with that. But they're talking like giving Malik Willis the same dollars that Justin Fields got. Like 2 years, 40 million, 20 million guaranteed. Hell no. No, no, no. Because at 20 million, you have to give him the job initially. You have to. And that doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't make sense to me at all. So it doesn't make sense. Past the Joint Pod said, keep your eyes on Shedeur. Deshaun Watson is healthy, highly paid, and highly motivated. Deshaun Watson's going to get cut by the Cleveland Browns. And Deshaun Watson is not going to play for the Cleveland Browns. So, going to get cut. In my opinion. But maybe he needed a coaching change to be better. It was a bad fit with Deshaun Watson in Cleveland anyway. He's better out of the shotgun. Stefanski wants to run a lot of stuff from under center. It was a bad fit to begin with. So maybe the new coach, maybe they'll have something better for him. Todd Monken runs a lot of stuff out of shotgun. You know, Lamar Jackson did a ton out of shotgun. So you might be right. Maybe Deshaun Watson will be better. We'll see. But, whew. CID, you got to stop. You got to stop. You got to stop. You're going to get us banned. I'm going to keep putting your comments up, though, but you're going to get us banned. Oh, Remix said Kenny P was a Pittsburgh City pick. Bad pick overall. Marino makeup. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Big B, you hear the Bears might be moving to Indiana. I did hear that, but I think that's just I don't know. Here's the thing. I thought it was just a tactic and just a ploy. Look, if anybody's from the Chicago area, I'm not trying to insult you. But the word on the street is the Bears were going to move to Gary. I don't know if anybody's familiar with Gary, Indiana. That's not the greatest place to be. I'll just be very, very kind and just say that Gary, Indiana is not the greatest place to be. Okay? I think it's just a tactic. But they said the same thing about Kansas City. The state of Kansas passed a bunch of bonds to bring the Chiefs to the Kansas side. They thought it was just a ploy. Next thing you know, they're moving to the Kansas side. So who the hell knows? Who the hell knows? My thing is, how long ago did they just redo a Chicago stadium? Like Soldier Field. Why don't they just build a new one down there and move on? Just build a new one downtown and move on. Jiminy Christmas. Torsha said, with the super chat, said, I'd rather sign Davis Mills on a cheap prove-it deal than trade a day 2 pick for C.J. Stroud. I wouldn't. I think you're nuts with that. Davis Mills is under contract, but I get what you're saying. But I think people believe that Stroud is bad because of a couple bad playoff games. C.J. Stroud is not a bad quarterback, people. He's not. So he'd had a bad offensive line this year. And he still played pretty well with that bad offensive line. The problem is when you get into situations when you get exploited, when that offensive line gets exploited, you're not going to look very good. But, yeah, he's not some bad quarterback. I don't know. So, I don't know what CJ is mid. His numbers say that he's not, but I get it. It's the internet, so we'll say anything. Mike in Texas said, did someone really just say Baby Hands would be good in Mike Wazowski's offense? Baby Hands won't even be in the league. No, Baby Hands is on his way out. He is. How many teams has this been? Is it his 5th team or 4th team? He's with the Steelers, Eagles, Browns, Raiders. This is his 4th team, right? And, oh, by the way, it was his 4th team in 12 months. Whew. So, ugh. Ugh. Mm-mm-mm. Granny training to be a punter. Let's move on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's move on. So, what I'm going to ask you guys first, and I want you guys to answer in the chat. What do you think is the Steelers' toughest offseason decision? Like, what do you get? And I'll be reading them in the chat. I want to know, what do you guys think is the toughest offseason decision for the Steelers? Like, is it finding a quarterback? Is it, clearing cap space, maybe getting rid of Patrick Queen, Jalen Ramsey, Jonnu Smith, drafting a wide receiver, signing a wide receiver? Like, what do you guys believe is the toughest decision in the offseason for the Steelers? I can tell you what mine is. Mine is deciding which edge rusher you want to get rid of, because they're not going to keep all of them. I just don't believe that that's going to happen. I know we can technically, but I don't think they're going to do that. Hell, the one thing, and I pointed this out, the Steelers could keep all three, franchise Herbig next year, and then try to trade TJ Watt next year. They could do that. But then you got a mad Nick Herbig on your hands this year, because he wants to be a starter right now. He thinks he's earned it, and he has. He has. So, what do you do? What do you do? What do you guys think is the biggest offseason? Building a QB room. Some people say getting rid of Highsmith, clearing cap space. I think too. So, Sir Lag says the toughest one for me is Jalen Ramsey. I love him. He's one of my favorite players in the league, but I understand if we let him go. $19 million, people. You can save $19 million. Signing Gainwell and which edge rushers to keep. Yep. It's edge rusher for me. It's edge rushers for me. If Texans had Tank, they would have went to the Super Bowl. Okay. Remix not being serious today, people. I'm sorry. Mike says, flip that. Convince TJ to retire next year. Nah. You going to retire when they owe you another whatever $41 million? You ain't retiring. You ain't retiring, man. I don't care if TJ don't have a sack this year. I get another year of $41 million. I'm playing football. I'm playing football. So Justin thinks that's what they're going to do. That's probably what they're going to do. Unfortunately, I'd try to move Highsmith. Yeah, I think they're going to do it too. I think that's what the Steelers are going to do. They're going to end up keeping all three, and then they're going to franchise Herbig in the offseason, and then they're going to try to trade TJ Watt the next year. I think that's exactly what they're going to do. I said it before. I think you should try to trade Highsmith. His value hadn't been higher than what it is right now. So, see you, Robert. Appreciate you being in here. So, he is a good big nickel. But is Ramsey going to take the pay cut? If Ramsey's going to take a pay cut and make $6 million, $7 million, okay, then we can talk about it. But if he's not going to take a pay cut, and it needs to be down to that, I'm not interested in paying $11, $12, $13 million to Jalen Ramsey. I'm not interested in that either. So I'm interested in paying him $6 to $7 million. If he's willing to do that for what we're asking him to do, great. If not, gotta go. Gotta go. You know, and again, I don't run the Pittsburgh Steelers. They may feel differently. They might feel if they can get him down to 12 million, they might say, "Hey, that's $7 million we got to save." So yeah, we'll do that. Okay. To me, I want it lower. I want it lower. But y'all know me. I'm one of the cheaper men in America. I want a deal on every transaction, man. So I'm one of the cheapest men in America. It is what it is. Fading Velocity says, B, here's my question. Mahomes restructured to give Chiefs money. Will you be okay if TJ stays if he restructures? I mean, is he gonna? I guess he could. But my thing is, it's still a lot of money for TJ Watt. Like, he's not going to restructure and take less money. Like, Mahomes didn't take less money. They just restructured the deal. So, and I think sometimes we get caught up in that. We think restructuring means pay cut. No, it doesn't. Like, they're not taking less money. They're just restructuring how they get the money to make it more team friendly. So TJ's still going to get his cash. And so I get that it would help with the salary cap, but here's the thing to remember. You can kick the bucket down or kick the can down the road all you want. Sooner or later, you have to pay that piper. Like, that salary cap hit is going to happen. It's just a matter of when. So you can kick the can down the road and keep kicking it, but sooner or later, you got to pay the piper. So, and for me, I would rather do that now as a Pittsburgh Steeler because we're not close to winning the Super Bowl. So why not take the big salary cap hit now and move on? But that's just me, though. That's just me. I may be wrong. So I may be wrong. Oh, look, Justin Watson. Will Howard is the best choice if you want a tank. Don't say that, Justin. They're going to eat you alive, man. They ate me alive. All because, well, I don't care. I mean, I've said the same thing about Will Howard from the very beginning. I want Will Howard to compete for a job. I don't think he should be given anything. And he doesn't deserve to be getting anything. He was a 6th-round pick. You could literally count on one hand how many quarterbacks in the last 40 years that have been drafted in the 6th round or less that have been consistent NFL starters. One hand, you can do that. And yet people keep saying that he's the future. It's wild. So, pause? What did I say? What did I say? I got to pause? So, Kenneth Jones says, eat the TJ deal while we don't have to pay a QB is the only alternative they will do. Exactly. That's the whole point. Not paying a QB. You're not paying a QB. So, got to compete. And this is a great point, Robert. The Steelers kicked the can down the road for a long time when Colbert was the GM. They absolutely did. They absolutely did. So, Danny says that Aaron Rodgers is your best choice if you want to see the same mediocrity. I get it, man. I get it. So, it's a touchy situation for some reason. For some reason, a 6th-round pick has become a phenomenon without taking a preseason snap. It's the craziest thing. I've never seen this from Steeler fans before. Like, I've been 45 years that I can remember being a Steeler fan. I've never seen Steeler fans react to a 6th-round pick this way. I've never seen it where so many people think that he is the future and will come up with every excuse under the sun. Even if you can diffuse it, it doesn't matter. Then it's, you don't know ball. You hate the Steelers. You're not a real fan. It's like, no, I'm a real fan. I'm also a realist. Competition never hurt anybody. Mason says, all I know is that nothing beat the KP and Matt Canada duo. Nothing at all. Best duo in football. It's a gut reaction. Everybody has a gut reaction. That gut reaction? I guess. So, I'm not saying you're wrong. Let's move on, people. Let's move on. So the Steelers, they got a JPJ is one of those, his extension is one of those things. And as far as decisions this offseason, if it's me, why can't the Steelers break the mold of guys are given extensions to? Why can't we do that now? Like when the league year starts, like why can't we give an extension now? Why do we have to wait until July? Why can't with the new trend? Because here's the thing, Joey Porter Jr. not going to show up to training camp, or not training camp, but he's not going to show up to mini camp. He's not going to show up to OTAs. He's not going to show up to any of that stuff because he wants an extension. You got a new coaching staff. He's got 1 year left on his deal. And for all people out there to say he needs to show up and honor his contract, this is how it's done in the National Football League. When you have, for instance, TJ Watt did the same thing. Didn't show up to OTAs, didn't show up to minicamp. Then he got a deal done, and he showed up. That's how it's done. And I know, well, JPJ is not TJ Watt. I'm not saying that he is. But what I am saying is when you have a year left with a good football player that you want to extend, he's not going to show up to anything until he gets his new contract because he doesn't want to get hurt. And if we know we're going to extend him, at least we should know that we want to extend him. Just do it now. Like the Steelers could do it now. There's no reason to wait until training camp, especially with the new defensive system, new head coach. Just do it now. So there's no reason to wait. Fading Velocity says, projection reported Pittsburgh Steelers cornerback Joey Porter Jr. is projected to sign a 4-year, $128 million deal this offseason. Great. Do it tomorrow. Perfect. Do it tomorrow. What's going on, Jason Rutledge? How you doing? But yeah, there's no reason to wait. They need to pay JPJ and stop making me nervous. I got enough problems. We all got enough problems. Exactly. I don't understand why we need to wait. Just get it done. So just get it done. There's no way, no reason for you to wait. Mason said, I root for Will Howard, but we have to be grounded with what he could be. He'll never, as far as I'm concerned, be a top 5 or 10 under center. So y'all got to stop. But see, here's the thing, though. Let's say Will Howard wins the job and Will Howard plays well. You don't have to be a top 5 or even a top 10 quarterback to win the Super Bowl. We just saw that. Like Sam Darnold isn't a top 10 quarterback in the league, and they just won the Super Bowl. So I don't want to put he's got to be a top 10 quarterback. I don't think that's fair because I don't think he has to be. You're never going to hear me say that, oh, well, Will Howard, we don't want him because he's not a top 10 guy. Everybody can't be top 10. And if you think the top 10 guys are really good, what if you're number 11? That means you're no good? So let's not get caught. I wouldn't get caught up in the labels like that because, again, I just don't think you have to be to win. Depends on what's around you and how well you play. Because like I said, top 10, okay, great. But if you're 11, for instance, how many people think Jalen Hurts is in the top 10? Like, I don't think Jalen Hurts is in the top 10. But they got to 2 Super Bowls, and he played his ass off in both of those. But I wouldn't put Jalen Hurts in the top 10 quarterbacks. Hell, is he even top 15? Probably top 15. But he's definitely not top 10. So that's the thing. That's the thing. Sam Darnold, Brock Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant. Just need a QB who puts their all in the system and is good between the ears. They also got to have some ability. Let's not go with, well, they give it their all and they give it the good, honest try, and they're really smart. Nah, you got to have some ability too, because there's plenty of smart guys that give it their all, but they don't have any ability. That they're just not good. And people can think they are, for instance, like Josh Rosen. Josh Rosen, smart guy. Sure he tried, but couldn't play at the NFL level. And he was drafted, I think he was 10th. So Mason said, I agree. Top 12 to 15 is more than good enough to win. So as long as you build a good team around him. Exactly. Darnold has an elite arm. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Hurts is buns. It's so buns. Yeah, that's the thing. Hurts is good, but I wouldn't go out of my way to say how good Hurts is. Like, he's not top 10 for sure. Don't get me started on noodle arm Hurts. Doesn't he have a noodle arm? He does, doesn't he? To be so athletic, like his arm, like somebody tried to compare his arm to Lamar Jackson's arm in a debate with me one time. I was like, I'm not going to even talk to you anymore. Me and you can't have conversations anymore ever again about football. This is a guy I'd known for 30 years. Jalen Hurts' arm's better than Lamar Jackson's. Okay, we're gonna stop talking football. Let's talk checkers because we can't talk football anymore. We can't do that. So we can't do that. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah. And we as Steeler fans can hate Lamar Jackson all we want and be legitimate, but there hasn't been a Steeler fan in this chat that's being serious, or even a sane person alive that's going to tell me Lamar Jackson's arm is a noodle. Yeah, no, no. It sounds like a Clavon statement. It probably was him. I did say I known him for 30 years. Slander. I love it. So Mason with the super chat said they need to be tested for that comparison. Yeah, probably does. Probably needs to be drug tested. Either that, or you know what I'm going to say. He needs to be thrown in a padded room and locked away forever. Don't even throw away the key. Just shut the door and cement it shut, and never let him out. Isaiah said, "How would you feel about moving up? So moving up in the teens in the draft for Tyson potentially. I think Mekhi Lemon will be gone in the top 10. I mean, I don't know. My thing is, I think Jordan Tyson is the best receiver in the draft. So I think he's going to be gone. That's my opinion. But based on what you're saying and asking your question, Isaiah, no. The Steelers have, if the Steelers didn't have so many holes, I would be okay with moving up. But the Steelers have too many holes. So you need players. That's how you get better. You need access to players. 5 picks in the top 100. That's how you flip your roster, is by using those picks. And we got holes. We can't just say we only need one guy. So we got to sacrifice some of our draft capital to move up for one guy. We got too many holes for that. I love where your mind's at with it, though. But no. We got to get younger at so many. Yes, Remix. Yes. We got to get younger. We got to get younger at so many spots. I just don't think it's conducive to giving up draft capital to do that. Not in my opinion. I don't think we should do that. Mason says Tyson is a nasty route runner, but we need more than him. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And that's why I'm not moving up in this draft. Not in the first 2 rounds. Now, What I would be willing to do is if you could package a third round pick this year and maybe a third round pick next year, or possibly even a second to move back into the first round of the draft this year, I'd be willing to do that because we got 3 first round picks, or excuse me, 3 third round picks. So I'd be willing to do that, but I'm not willing to just move up in the teens from 21 because now we're having to give up something and we're not getting anything. We're not getting any access to better players. We're losing a pick, you know. But I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. So KTB, you got to stop, man. I can't put that up there. It's funny as hell, but I can't put it there, man. So Z, what's going on, man? He said, didn't Tyson have a lot of injuries? He's great, but hurt a lot, I believe. Yes, he is. I have Big 12 Insiders is another channel that I have on YouTube, and I cover the Big 12. And Tyson is really good. He's really good. And I think he's the best receiver in the draft. I do. With his ability, I think he's the best. But he's had a lot of injuries. He gets nicked up a lot, which is why here recently I've backed off on whether the Steelers should take him because I'm like, man, I like him. But if you're hurt a lot in college, you're going to be hurt a lot in the pros. I mean, I know it's an old saying and it's an old cliche, but they always say if you limp into the league, you'll limp out of it too. I agree. If anything, this may be a draft to trade down. Yeah. Yeah, if the Steelers could trade from 21, think about this. If the Steelers could go from 21 to 25 and get Vega, oh, goodness gracious. Y'all know how I want Vega anyway. But if the Steelers could go from 21 to 25 and they could still get Vega at 25, now I don't think it's possible. I'm not sure they're going to be able to even get him at 21. But if they could do that and pick up another pick, woo, Lord. So Miss Christine says, I'm telling y'all, we might be able to get Tyson. I think he's going to fall. And if he does, I would take him if he's available. Yeah, probably. I do like this, Isaiah. Isaiah Ballard says, I'd honestly take Omar Cooper Jr. over KC Concepcion. I don't think he's worth I don't either. I think Concepcion is going to run fast, but I don't think he's the greatest route runner out there. I think Omar Cooper Jr. is underrated. Y'all saw my list. If y'all haven't seen the Draft Lab, which, by the way, we got a new one coming out tomorrow on tight ends. But if you didn't see last week's Draft Lab, make sure you go check it out. I gave you my list. I had Omar Cooper Jr. in my top 5. I mean, he's physical, a route runner, gets a lot of yards after the catch. I like Omar Cooper Jr., man. I like him. So, Concepcion drops like DK. Yes, he does. He absolutely does, Mike. He absolutely does. So, Steel City Sal says, I'm taking Vega over Tyson all day. Games are won in the trenches. Protect the quarterback, establish a run, control December. Receivers eat when the line eats. Y'all know my feelings, man. When your offensive line is good, your entire football team is good. There's not a lot of instances where you say, hey, man, that offensive line is good, but that team is terrible. That team's no good. Yeah, their offensive line is good, but that team isn't very good. I'm sure there's instances where it's happened, but it ain't many. Now, I'm not saying that the team with the best offensive line wins the Super Bowl every year. I'm not telling you that. But it did 2 years ago, though, didn't it? Team had the best offensive line in football, won the Super Bowl. And that was the Eagles. But yeah, you don't really hear where, hey, man, that offensive line is real good, but that team is terrible. So, not true. Cowboys, well, the Cowboys this past year, their offensive line was good. Wasn't the greatest, but Cowboys had some injuries, and that defense was bad. But you're right. The Cowboys line was good this year. It was good. I give you're right. Cowboys line was good. But were they terrible? I don't think the Cowboys were terrible. But that's a good point. So that's a good point. And it is the Cowboys. You're right. It is the Cowboys. So either way, it's wild. But look here, people. I got to run. Got to pick up my friend from the airport that's coming in. So I appreciate all you guys out there, man. Make sure tomorrow you guys show up for the Draft Lab. Me and Big G tomorrow night talking tight ends and what the Steelers may or may not do with the tight ends, what we are going to do with the ones on our roster, and if we are going to draft any and should we. So make sure you guys show up. I appreciate everybody out there, ladies and gentlemen. This is a good week. This was a good week for Steelers Almighty, man. I had a lot of fun this week. It didn't start off great. I was sick as a dog. Remember, I was so sick on Monday? Man, I didn't feel good. Whew, that was brutal. Brutal. But you guys helped. You guys helped, made it better. I rebounded, feeling good today. Lost 4 pounds, people. Lost 4 pounds. I'm on my way to 75. I'm on my way to 75. Y'all got to hold me accountable. Y'all have not been holding me accountable, damn it. I told you got to hold me accountable. So I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you very, very much. Draft Lab tomorrow should be a good one. And again, thank you guys as always. And I will talk to you soon. And aloha.